Hello, everyone, and welcome to Connecting the Dots with Dr. Ashaye. This is a great place to be if you desire to take charge of your health so you can live fully while enjoying doing what you love. So many of you know how confusing, frustrating, expensive healthcare can get. And today I have one of my patients, Pauline Odutola, who is also a business owner, and she is going to share how she's been able to navigate her healthcare and significantly reduce her costs. So, hi, Pauline. Thank you for being here.
Hi, everyone. Oh my God. Thank you so much for having me. This is such an honor. I've been with you. I can't believe it's been 3 years. I guess, the time goes by fast when you're having fun or you have an amazing doctor like that, Dr. Ashaye. But yeah, so I mean, for me, I'm actually a pharmacist. It's my first career, still am. And so how did I come here? It was actually through me and my husband's journey of transitioning to full business ownership. So we both kind of started just like many, the part-time business owners while working in the pharmacy in our different roles. And, you know, just like many others, towards the end of 2021, we kind of took that leap. And so one of the things that actually even delayed us, or just was a concern because we didn't do it at the same time. I think my husband went first and I went later, and it was health. Health insurance. We have three beautiful children, and Dr. Shai sees all of us, family of five. And one of the major things was, what are we going to do about health insurance? And so kind of how we found her was through our network, within our church. And so it was just an amazing opportunity because as we learned more about it, we were able to find out that we could still have full access. I like to say we have the same or even more access to healthcare, as business owners at actually half the cost. And I'm not just saying that, it's actually literally half the cost. Of course, I had great insurance, I work a corporate, work for a Fortune 500 company, so with my husband as well as pharmacist. So we had great insurance, not really complaining, but after we did the math, because and I know we'll get to that question later, but essentially, we did end up cutting our costs in half, the actual out-of-pocket cost in half by coming over here. So like I say, we have full access to healthcare through Dr. Shai, and she has so many resources that assist us. So we really didn't feel a difference. We actually felt almost like we had more, a little bit on certain aspects. I mean, and so that's one thing that I can say, how we ended up here was our journey to business ownership. We have a home health agency. And so we're both the administrators. We're actually located in the Sugar Land area, but we service all Houston and greater Houston area. And then I also have a real estate company where I do also real estate as well. So, full-time business owner, and that's fully all where all of our income comes from. So I can definitely speak to business ownership and the multi-entrepreneur as well.
Yeah, absolutely. You have your hands full for sure. And so, yeah, that is a big decision. And I'm glad you talked about that because that is a decision a lot of people have to make when they make that leap. Sometimes it's because they no longer can be on their significant other's insurance plan, or sometimes it is because they are both going into business. So many different reasons why people have to change, or sometimes it's because they're just tired of the the way the traditional healthcare system works and they want a different way. So it's been since 2021 that you joined. And this is a direct primary care practice, and that means that it's membership. And you kind of alluded to that a little bit in terms of, it's different from the traditional care system. So what has been your healthcare experience? Like what while you've been part of the practice?
Well, my healthcare experience has been a true, it's been something I haven't experienced before. It does, and what do I say that? What do I mean by that? I mean, Dr. Shai, is very proactive with reaching out, and her team as she's grown over the years. And, you know, reminding us, doing reminders to check, to make sure we do this. We also have access to be able to call anytime, you know, of course, within reason, but even without reason, at times we call that. So my experience is just access, like no other. So with traditional insurance, I've had all the major ones, you know, United Healthcare, Blue Cross, and all of that. You know, we typically have, you know, your one annual as a healthy individual, right? And then, you know, of course, when I was pregnant, you know, that's different. But otherwise, you know, once a year, you're going to your doctor and that's it. And nobody's calling me to remind me. It's me to do that and ensure that I do that, right? My husband as well. And so my husband is, you know, just like typical men, you know, they don't really you know, check on themselves as well, right? So it's only when wifey does it, but Dr. Ashaye definitely helps with that, right? So Dr. Ashaye calls and then so he's checking on his health too, and it's become part of that. So what I will say is my experience has been a true interest in our health. She is a part of our, you know, health family, right? And truly cares about our kids as well, has a relationship with them. And they know Dr. Lola, that's what they call her. And so I've just really had a personal touch with her and her team. Like I said, they ensure that we meet any paperwork we need, we can call, we can do. You know, my son has extreme, you know, allergies. And so she's come up with just really innovative ways to try to help treat these things that traditionally in the system, they bounce you from here, they bounce you from there, and then they bounce you back over there, right? And then none of them actually know about what's going on. So you know, she has recommended us to different specialists, but it's always coordinated. She's always following up to ensure to bridge that gap. So that's what I would say from a perspective of my experience with her, is that I know that at the end of the day, she's truly reading my lab. She's truly, you know, ensuring that, you know, my children's vaccines are up to date. My husband's, you know, is being checked. I'm ensuring that I'm doing my annual, or you know, even if it's, you know, once a month, whatever is needed. I also had issues with acne. So went from gynecological to acne to allergies, and she's really navigated different things. And I've been able to do that with her. And so I would just say a true interest in our health. And that's what I would say. It just feels like more access than before, where you have to really be the one, and there's a limit because insurance has limits, you know, it's one per year. If you really read the, you know, the details of these things, there's not that here. So there's not a limit really, you know, so if you need her 5 times in a month and 0 times the next month, it's the same thing. There's not an extra charge. So that's the difference, I would say.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. And, you know, that's really what we aim to do, to be able to be proactive about the care, about your care. And also we truly have an interest, all of us and our team, in trying to make sure people remain healthy or become healthy if that's what they need. And so I'm so glad it touches my heart. Thank you for sharing that. So, you know, given all of this, what were your approximate health costs like for, you know, given that you are getting this value, what has been the cost for you? Investment is what I like to call it, honestly, but
Investment. I would say the investment, like I said, just from the monthly perspective is half, because this is what I challenge every business owner to do, honestly, is, you know, you work for a Fortune 500 company or Fortune 100 or a major company, whatever it is, and you're getting the insurance. Check your paycheck stubs. Check your paycheck stubs and look and see, because you are paying a portion of it towards your paycheck. You don't know because it comes out automatically, but I challenge you to do that. And so one of the things I would say is you would essentially see that you may actually be paying, you know, half or, you know, double or 3 times more when you actually look at the paycheck stub and see, you know, how much is being taken out. And so after we did the math, we were able to see that with a family of 5, with a great insurance, all of that, PPO, whatever it is, we were paying, our actual out-of-pocket costs that come out of our paycheck or is deducted as our membership was reduced in half. Right. And so, and we actually end up having a higher utilization because we can call at any time. And so we ended up having more value. That value, I'm sure there's a dollar amount to it, but for me, it's priceless. But I'm sure that, the amount of access that I have without having to, there's in person, there's virtual options, phone options. And so she works around that schedule. So for me, from a numbers, I would say half, but beyond that, there's so much more value too,
Yeah. And again, yeah, I think that's helpful to mention because some of the values we can't measure the value of being able to call or text or email on a weekend, for instance, versus what it will cost to go somewhere else in that, or just even the stress associated with that can be costly. Okay.
Yes.
Now, we're primary care, right? And you've mentioned some of the services that we offer, which is a wide variety. So we say typically with direct primary care, we can cover 80 to 90% of healthcare, but the 10 to 20% can be pretty expensive. And I think that's what people are concerned about. And how have you been able to navigate that in terms of the 10 to 20% that could come up? I mean, it doesn't come up all the time, but it could come up and can be, an expense.
Yes. So I would say that, the 10 to 20% does happen. Real life happens, emergency happens. And honestly, my advice is, just keeping it real is to create your own, this is just my ideas, but create maybe your own health savings account, right? So a lot of things that we have, through our business, our employers, our health insurance options like maybe health savings accounts or things like that, you are putting money towards it, but it just comes out before you see it. So I would say create a savings account. Right now, we're just literally paying cash for those things, right? So luckily, we are a healthy family. We have had emergencies throughout the time we've been with Dr. Ashaye. And so that is, something to consider. Some can call it a con, but the one thing I can say is that, with insurance, you do have out of network, you have in network, you have, and so with this option, Dr. Ashaye, has a wealth of within her range, but I also have an open network through this option as well. So literally can walk into any doctor's office. One thing I've also seen through that, though it is cash and it sounds like, oh man, you have to pay cash. Somehow it seems that once you pay cash, you get a cheaper amount. So anytime we're like, oh, you're a cash paying, then we're like, oh. So then you actually start seeing how much these things cost and how much you were paying towards the insurance, and then you can kind of do the math. So I just advise people on that. I mean, I'm not against insurance. I do think it has its place, as everything does. But as a healthy individual, you just consider what it is that you have. So just like anything, you have an emergency savings account, you can create one too. This is what I advise. And actually, we're going to be doing that too. Luckily, we haven't had to do that, but it's something that I'm going to be doing as we continue on. But I would just say that. So, I mean, the answer, the long short is you got to pay out of pocket. I mean, that's it. There's nothing really for me to say that I've been doing, but I know there are other options, and maybe Dr. Ashaye, or anybody else can inform me. But I would just say that just like anything, health is wealth, create a savings plan for it, just the same way you have a rainy day savings for whatever, right? You lose your job or something like that. So your health is even more important than all of those things. So I would say that would be the solution. That's essentially what we've been doing, but we just need to probably create a formal account that we just put money towards every time. So that for that 10 to 20%.
Right. And we talked about this on our 2 episodes ago too. And I had a health benefits person come up and who talked about some of the options. So having an emergency fund, that's great. You can actually do that through your business. And so I can put you in touch with that person. You can also just have another health plan that covers just that 10 to 20%. So there are ways that that can be built, the health sharing plans that can do that. So there are ways. The point of this is to let people know that there are options, right? Because some people actually don't go into business because of this fear of healthcare. That's one. And then other people, business owners, are delaying their healthcare, waiting for something or, waiting, and then something bad happens when they could have prevented it because they don't know that these options exist. So this is really just to explain that, look, you do not have to delay your healthcare. There is an option for healthcare. You don't want to have conditions that can be so easily preventable now that we can treat right now, and you're delaying just because you didn't understand that there was this option available. So that's basically, why we're putting the word out. Okay, so a business owner is listening right now, and they may be looking at their healthcare options, and you've already told them basically that they need to go back and kind of look and do the numbers. So do you have anything additional to add there?
I just say, I just challenge everyone to document the cost for your healthcare, as you actually, are going out with your insurance, your traditional insurance, and document the co-pays that you're paying, document any bills you may get later, and then how much you're paying monthly, and just do your own analysis. I mean, at the end of the day, that's the best data that anybody can tell you, right? So I just challenge you to do that. I'm someone that likes to challenge things that typically, especially in the healthcare space, even as a healthcare professional, because, there's just so many ways to do things, but the employer space makes you feel like there's only one way. But as a business owner and entrepreneur, that other side of me is like, there's so many ways to do things, right? And so this is a solution. I just challenge you to do that. I also challenge you to know your own health situation. Like I said, traditional healthcare, insurance has a place. And I think that when you have extreme or higher, levels of care, that may be the best option. I'm not going to sit here and say that this is the best option for every single person, because that would not be my truth. But I believe that just know your own health, right? And understand that. So, and then from there, you can make the decision. So it may be best that you stay there because of your health conditions, right? I don't know. So those are the things I just say, just challenge yourself, look at the numbers, know your health, and then make a decision. But know that this is an option, and one that has worked for a family of 5 with young children. And we have been able to still receive healthcare and not really miss a beat. That's what I can tell you.
Great. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. Yes. All that you said, I don't think I have anything to add. So you mentioned earlier you're a business owner and you are in the Sugar Land area too. So I know people are looking for services, and tell us a little bit more about what your business offers and how people can find you.
Well, we are Chemik Healthcare Services. I am the administrator and CEO. And we do home health services. So what we do is we actually have skilled nursing, we have therapists, and we have caregivers that come to you and bring healthcare to you, right? So that's our business as well. And we're expanding into hospice. So we'll become Chemik Healthcare and Hospice soon. And so that's our business. And you can find us at www.chemichealthcare.com, and that's CHEMIK healthcare.com. And you can find us at Chemik Healthcare on Instagram, and then personally at Pauline Odutola _ the CEO on Instagram as well. So you can find me as my personal business page that I have as well. So we're here to serve you and your we primarily service the seniors in their home. We work with primary care physicians such as Dr. Ashaye, who they still are able to maintain that, and then we're able to work with them to facilitate any weekly visits, daily visits that are needed. And so that's essentially what we do. As a multiple business owner, I also do real estate. I primarily focus on commercial real estate. So I also help business owners like yourself to be able to find spaces to grow. So that's kind of a little bit about me and my business, but definitely check us out or reach out. We would love to be of assistance. And thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Pauline, for sharing that. And we'll have all those links in the chat, in the caption, so that people can easily reach out to you if needed. So remember, home health if you need it, commercial real estate if you need it. These are very, very important resources. And I'm so glad that you're able to serve us in this way. So we've come to the end of the episode today. Thank you for listening. And remember, subscribe if you haven't already. And if you know a business owner or someone who wants to start a business, please share this episode with them. It could really, really be a difference maker for them. So go ahead and share. All right. Thank you. Have a good day. And thank you, Pauline, for joining us today. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, and definitely check out Dr. Ashaye. She's an amazing doctor, and I definitely will say thank me later. Yeah.
Thank you. All right, guys. See you next week.